Episode 1764 of the Too Thick Pod, your home for all things sports, cards, levity. I am Jeremy, Reckless Cards, La Coffee Hefe, joined as always by none other, Manny B and Manny, who looked like he was pounding Riscato right out of the bottle.
Oh, I'm definitely pounding. This is the only wine. It's not even wine. The only thing I could drink that's close to wine. I'm a child. It tastes like jungle juice. And it gives me like I could drink the whole bottle, but I will have a headache for the next.
There is a Courtney Reckless somewhere in the world who is cheering because she loves her glorified Boone's Farm wine.
This is the only thing I could drink. I got it at Olive Garden. I thought it was fancy.
Oh, it's really good if you're not a wine drinker and you want to look like that. It's sweet. It's got a good taste. But that headache the next morning is hell, my friend.
I had to pull it out to make sure, the fans know that we're back, popping bottles. And it's been a long one. It's been 7 days since the longest episode.
Might be our longest stretch ever is 7 days going in between recordings.
Yeah, people will say.
I want to get into this. First off, we have to pick up a new sponsor. I haven't seen the ACH. I haven't gotten the notification from Chase that the money's hit. Tyler's too busy buying bigger and more gaudy and expensive setups for shows. Yep. He's on Whatnot, Fanatics. He's too busy. He forgot about the people, the little guys that brought him to the top of the mountain.
Yeah, it's true. I got on his Fanatics today and yesterday, and I was talking, and Tyler just big time me. Didn't even say hi, Manny. Which I was like, "What's going on?"
Wow, I know. Tommy was there. He'd stop the stream and give you a virtual hug via the internet.
I agree. The only thing he said is, "Wow, you guys are still in the hobby? Can you believe that?"
It's an incredible time if you're a sports fan. We have the NCAA men's and women's tournaments kicking off.
Oh, yeah.
We have baseball started as my Cubbies are 0-2. And if I had it my way, I would burn that hat right off your head while you're wearing it because to hell with the Dodgers. We are Chicago through and through. And waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, which you're already up to watch the Cubs get swept, not cool. Not the way we wanted to start the season. NFL free agency is wild. Basketball, they're gearing up for the playoffs. Hockey, the Blackhawks suck, and they don't even think that Connor Bedard is going to be able to save them. So hockey is dead right now for yours truly. But it's a great time. This time of year when, all of the sports, we've got soccer. USA's playing tomorrow night. Canada versus Mexico. There's not enough hours in the day. I'm kind of wishing that my kids, I could just do a timeout because they all have school sports and school functions. I was like, nah, man. Dad just wants to watch sports. Leave me alone.
I actually took tomorrow I have a half day tomorrow and Friday because this is the best sporting event that's happening tomorrow, the NCAA tournament. And you know how much I love college. So I'll be glued to 4 TVs in front of me, sitting, eating popcorn, farting, and just living the life.
I like that. I was reading an article on ESPN earlier, and they were talking about the odds of getting a bracket. And there was some guy within the last couple of years who started out 48 for 48.
Yep.
But it's 1 in quadrillion. These are numbers that most people, if you hear it, the average American, who I find to be not very intelligent, would think that it's a made-up number.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's always an upset. It takes one. College is funny. It's parity. That's why I like it, because in NBA, they're so good that you could kind of know who's going to win. College, you could have a bad day. These guys aren't professionals. They can't, you know how it is. You just have a bad day. You're not making shots. The other team's making shots, and it's game over for you.
Yeah, you never know. You're on the bus on the way over. You've got your music on. Mm-hmm. I think all the kids like to listen to Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill because their favorite athlete does it. They're going through the Snapchat, and they see their girl is with the captain of the swim team. Ooh. And he gets all in his mental. He goes out 4 turnovers, 0 for 8 from the line, and usually a solid free throw shooter goes 3 for 7 from the charity stripe. They lose the game.
Oh, yeah.
You're dealing with kids here.
Yep. People don't realize that. They and now with social media, they go after them with the NIL and everything.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to be you lose. There's some 72-year-old geriatric man who will threaten your life, and then they always become very racial right away. When they're cheering, they're like, yeah, but if you're not white. Oh man, the racial epithets come out in full force.
Oh yeah.
You make a mistake playing.
You got this guy that's looked like Stephen Hawkins on the chair, just like this, watching. I could have made that shot. I can't believe they're missing all these shots.
That is my personal hell, and I've always been that way. There are certain environments where it's like I enjoy being a meatball and just like scream, like no matter what, like the referee's wrong. But that's few and far between. I cannot stand watching a game with a group of people who are like stupid or like so biased that when something unfolds right in front of them, they go like that's just not for me.
You know what kind of fans they are. You've worked in their town plenty of times.
Oh yeah. the majority of the people listening to this.
Yeah. Yep. Our fans.
I've got a cool topic or something that I've been reflecting on. You know, your boy's very introspective, likes to reflect, likes to think.
Some say you're Michelangelo.
I have, in addition to that god-awful, ugly-colored hat that you're wearing.
Okay, it's green and white.
I don't care.
It's Lansing.
Nice try. I have a bone to pick with you.
Uh-oh.
So last week, we were recording, and you did your whole like tired shtick that nobody finds funny, where you're like, you don't go to shows. I'll be there by myself. I just want to hang out with my big bro. Let's go to shows. So I said, all right, dude. All right. And it's going to be a nice segue. So my little Kaya bear has gotten into cards big time. Every day she wants a new Zion case. She wants to rip wax. And because she graded one card that netted her $1,000 in her bank account, she thinks it's like that easy. She's always like, Dad, just do this. And then, you know, we'll just put more money in the bank and we can buy more stuff.
Yeah.
And she's smart enough to always like tie something in, like get a hook in, like, Daddy, we can get Patrick Williams cards, or Daddy, we can get Jordans. Like that's her new thing. Like every day she's like, can we get Jordans?
Yeah.
So Saturday, gymnastics gets done. She gets home and I'm like, all right, come on, Kai Bear, I got you. You and me are going to spend the day together. No work, cleared the schedule. You know, that's like one of those things. You're in business for yourself. You pick and choose your spots. I don't want to do a damn thing. I want to go spend time with the Kaya Bear.
Yep.
And I want to go to a card show. So I get on the phone, pop, 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 message you, hey, man, I'll be in Lansing at noon. To which you respond like...
I respond quickly. So you're
like, why are you going to Lansing? And I'm like, the card show? The card show that we set up at every effing month for a year? We were like residency. You know, Vegas, the residency? Too Thick had a residency in Lansing with our guy Dennis. Shout out Dennis. Maybe Dennis will cut a check.
Yeah, there you go. You think he'll give us that prime real estate if we ever come back? Or put in the back.
But you messaged me like stupidly, why are you going to Lansing? To which I was like, that's an odd to go to the card show. Then like a little bit of time goes by and you're like, there is no card show.
I screwed up. And the only reason I knew, and it saved both of us a trip, was our good friend JMN, because he told us through our comments on YouTube.
And to be clear, the Lansing show from my house is like it's a 1 hour, 1 minute on the dot going like 80 miles an hour.
Yep.
It's the same there and back. Traffic's never an issue. It's a straight shot west from my crib. And I thought like, wow, I just promised my daughter we're going to go to a card show. Manny busted my balls about attending a card show. Selected the card show he'd like me to attend. Gave me the date.
It's the wrong date.
I acquiesced to his wants, his needs, his desires, only to find out that Manny is doing whatever the hell he wants, just throwing out fake dates and creating card shows that aren't there.
Yeah, I screwed up. It's always the third weekend of the month, and I thought it was the third weekend of the month. I was a week ahead.
You know, it's shame on me. Ever since I've had project managers, we have lived by the credo, trust but verify. Trust but verify.
You didn't verify.
I did not verify, so shame on me. I know who I'm dealing with, so I should have expected some sort of tomfoolery.
Not my fault.
Or some deficiencies in the information provided. There you go. Drink the pain away.
Yep.
You're sad because you drink because you're sad.
Yeah.
So I had to pivot. So I got on Ask Jeeves. which is an old website that gives you all the answers to all of your questions. And I said, Jeeves, where is a card show today? Hoping to God I could find one relatively close, because now my daughter is like geeked up and I will cut off my arm before I disappoint my children.
Yeah.
So I found one actually in Waterford, which was closer, over 50 tables, snazzy, never even knew about this show, at the Oakland Exhibition Event Center.
Okay.
So we get there. Very similar, maybe small, definitely smaller, but similar kind of layout to that of what we just experienced in Shipshewana in the new event center. However, this show was 85% Pokemon and 15% sports.
Kaya Bear loved that, though.
She did. However, with every table, it was like we need to buy 18 boxes of wax and like on to the next thing. Because you know how kids are, they get excited.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I'm here. She wants to do Pokemon. Let's dive in. So I start talking with the dealers who, seemed respectful and, were willing to engage. And a lot of them were very friendly and were able to talk through the differences in the cards and what makes them valuable. A couple of things that I want to draw attention to. One, these people, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but they have like their own language. It was very common. The way they described cards, they very much were like, oh, this is NM. I heard NM a million times, and I've never once heard that at a card show.
Is that mint?
Like near mint.
Oh, they actually say that?
Yeah, NM, yeah. And there was a lot more cameras than I've seen at your regular monthly card show.
Okay.
Some of these people had some very nice setups. Some of these cards are just beautiful to look at, even though I have absolutely no idea about what I'm doing. And I found it challenging to negotiate with some of these people just because the vernacular, listening to them talk, because, like I like to roll up to a table, listen to what's going on, and then find my way in to like break that ice or feel comfortable talking with somebody. And I recognize like I'm out of my league here. I'm not, and because I'm using eBay image search.
Yep.
Make sure. And I'm like, I think this card's 2x comps, but I can't intelligently speak to what I'm trying to ask. And so like I just had to take a very novice approach. Like, okay, he's got 2 showcases. One of them is nothing but PSA 10s or CGS. I've never seen so many CGS slabs in my life either.
They love that.
And then there's raw. And I'm like, is it safe to assume that, these aren't grade worthy? And so through due diligence, I was able to come away with some cards, but cool community, nice people, a lot more women and ladies, which was like super cool. I think it made Kaya feel incredibly comfortable and not out of place. And just like the card shows that we experienced, because I think the Michigan community is pretty cool. Yep. A lot of like giveaways or people attempting to like, hey, do you want a little toy? Do you want a couple cards? You can pick something out, which makes it an awesome experience for the kids. So something good did come out of the badness of Manny giving poor information.
I knew it would have worked out. Actually, I didn't. I was panicking because I thought you would have read the comment, and I'm bad at communicating with Jeremy, I will admit, because once I found out, I should have let Jeremy know, so he didn't show up in Lansing.
In fairness to you, Mr. Manuel.
No, I'm horrible.
No, I mean you are. But in fairness to you, I can make the argument that it would have been a safe assumption that I was not going to make it to this random Saturday show because typically have been busy or had family obligations.
Yeah.
So it just worked out that way.
Yeah, it's definitely it is this weekend though. Avery Shoe Bars.
Well, let me tell you something. I asked, so there was over winter, there was some hockey game that Courtney, Amelia, and Lala were going to go to. And Kaya's like, I don't want to go. And I'm like, thank God. Thank God. Cool, Kaya. Do you want to maybe you and me do a daddy Kaya date? Yeah. Bingo. Anytime you can get one of the kids and it's like one-on-one time with dad, we can get out of anything.
Yep.
So it's always safe to assume if me and the boy are doing something, there's something else that I really don't want to be doing because I'm like, come on, Steve, I know you're grounded. And I know you didn't do your homework, but let's go to a game. That's how you get the sign off from mom.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a pro tip right there. So they've got because of the weather, the actual makeup for the hockey games this Saturday. So I asked Kaya, I'm like, man, it's just you and me. What do you want to do? First thing, I wasn't even done. Card show. So there is a good chance that Kaya and I will make our way out to Lansing by because she has gymnastics in the morning by 12:30.
Okay. I got to see what we're doing because not the kids, but my friends because we're March Madness. But if you're gonna go, I could stay a little bit longer. So
well, good, man. I know basketball is more important than anything else. Who
no,
cares about friendships and
no
kids and family? No, to hell with all that.
No, what's gonna happen is you're gonna text. I could see it now. 10 o'clock. I'm coming on my way. I'll be at the show already, so I can miss a couple games.
There you go.
As long as it's not Michigan State, but Michigan State will play at night.
So, as a result of my experience, because then check this out. After we left that show, we drove probably about 45 minutes to an hour to Brighton to that new card shop.
That's where I thought you would have went.
So we went back over there. I bought her another box of some $160 box. And I got kind of spoiled with with Brandon and TCG, and a couple of times I have ripped anything with Pokemon. I saw a couple cards, I'm good. The best card was $20, and there was one of those straight up, and I mean this respectfully, but I'm going to use these words to paint a picture. I'm not saying anything bad. There was one of those hardcore Pokemon geeks, one of those people you see and they know everything about Pokemon.
Yeah,
and he was super cool. I didn't get his name, and I was he's like, how'd you do? I'm like. So he thumbed through, and I'm like, man, he's going way too fast. And I had all the shiny cards or the hollows or off to the side. And I'm like, all right, man, here comes the money. And it was one trainer card for $15-20. Get smoked,
dude. It's so hard to keep up with Pokemon. I tried. Also, in prices of this is kind of for the people that are listening. Prices of Pokemon's getting inflated. It seems like all the repackers are going to Pokemon lately because I actually don't know why, but all the bigger hobby guys I see buying Pokemon all of a sudden. Now the prices are going crazy.
I don't know if it's maybe a safer store of value for certain stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It'll last the test of time. But it got me thinking. I had such a good time, and it was fun doing it with her. And, she grasps that you can buy something, you can do something, sell it, and get money.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? But she's still she likes to look at the cards. She likes to handle them. She's got favorite characters. She likes to put them in her case. She's always like, Daddy, I'm working on cards, getting ready for Shipshawana.
The other kids better watch out. Amelia, Steven, Lala, because Amelia's going to get pushed out of the picture, and she's going to be the new V-boy is going to be Kaya Bear. Amelia's gone.
There is beef. Anything that Kaya draws, any homemade artwork's got the VB on it, and we always, since Amelia was little, we've always done pictures with us sticking our middle fingers up, and now Kaya is anytime we do a picture, if you see me share something on Instagram or Courtney shares something on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, if there's a nice picture of Kaya and I, most certainly the picture before is both of us flipping the camera off.
That's funny.
But it got me thinking. I thoroughly enjoyed sharing that with my kid.
Yeah.
It was cool. And I've always wanted to be the type of parent that will take interest in my kids' interests.
Yep.
I didn't have that as a child, so it's important to me. And I'm not always great at it. Sometimes there's stuff that I just I can't get into. But I'll sit down once in a couple weeks and I'll watch Salish with the girls, some YouTube character whose dad is super weird, but that's important to them. So I'll watch it with them. And I was like, hey, all right, there's something here. We both like cards. We have a good time. She's got a good sense of humor. I love spending time with her. I don't know about Pokemon, and I've always been kind of I'm not going to get into Pokemon. It doesn't look cool. It seems overwhelming. So I'm like, you know what? As I was thinking about it, I'm like, if that's what it takes, I'm going to have to start learning about Pokemon.
Uh-oh.
So as I'm thinking about this, I thought about over the last several years from even before the first time we met, how I've participated in the hobby and what my experiences have been like. And I kind of thought there's waves of things that are cool, things that I'm into, things that I'm not, what I like about it, what I don't. And so what I wanted to spend a little bit of time tonight talking about is how Has your hobby experience changed from a few years ago to now? What are you doing now that's differently? What do you like? What do you dislike? And where do you envision it's going to go? Because if you would have asked me a couple years ago, I would have never said buying Pokemon cards or putting 1 minute of effort into learning about them would be something that I would do. And now I'm kind of like, I'm probably going to go down that rabbit hole and try to learn as much as possible.
Yeah, it has been a journey for both of us, from meeting at the first show, the Man Cave show, in person. I would say that was the first time we met, and I remember vividly. I was trying to buy $1,000 cards because I thought that was the way to go. Let's buy high end, and then that didn't work out. So then I went low end. Then I went this way. So at first I realized that I followed the hype. I was listening to content creators. I was listening to all these people, what they were saying, and I was trying to mimic what they would do, right? I see them making money. Let me try to make money. And I will say it, I didn't care about the like cards personally. I had one player, Nomar, and I didn't care about anything else. Sell it. Now I open my mind. I'm like, you know what? I'm going for stuff. Everyone's talking about Topps Chrome, Topps this. I'm going for the lower end product because you could still get case hits for really cheap, and then you could flip those, and then get what I like personally. And I'm always open. I buy. We talked about it. Dang, I just stuttered. That was bad.
I think you're hitting your microphone.
Am I?
Like you're rubbing against it, or there's like a.
Is that better?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No. So, I mean, I keep my mind open. I just bought a bunch of TCG anime stuff, not TCG anime, like collectible stuff that you won't see at all, and it's just stuff I enjoy. I love watching anime now. I never thought I would like. I used to make fun of those nerds, and now I'm watching anime and collecting college cards, and also doing all the low end stuff for ComC. I just sent over 180 cards to ComC yesterday.
Isn't the anime TCG thing kind of crazy when you think about it? Because I never watched it.
Me neither.
And it was actually you and Brandon who spited me into watching Demon Slayer, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
Yep.
And then just being aware of what the TCG cards, being aware of like some of the characters and some of the stuff. It's like I had no idea how popular and actually how mainstream anime was in the world we live in. Now songs I've listened to forever, like rap songs, and they're like Super Saiyan. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, okay, that's even cooler because like you're saying I'm going Hulk or Beast mode, or like the different like shirts and stuff. Like, oh man, that's that. Mm-hmm. And like once in a while, if I'm feeling like not so introverted, I might see something. I'll try to like chop it up. I'm like, oh yeah, anime. They're like, oh yeah, they named 58 shows I've never even heard of. I'm like, and I'm sure they can tell like I'm almost a poser. I'm like, have you heard of Demon Slayer? Are you familiar with Demon Slayer?
It's crazy though when you at card shows when you pull out anime stuff. I swear I get stopped by my anime. When I got that those Shonen Weekly first editions, I got stopped like 5 times just to talk about what they were. So there's a bunch of people that like it. But yeah, like when we were younger, it was those weird emo kids that like to kickbox in the corner by the stairs, and they're I just pictured all the goths that were like fake punching and kicking in the stairway. I don't know if you guys had those too, but those were the anime kids, and we were just like, yes, get away from us. They would just start screaming in the hallway like they're going Super Saiyan, and they were the scary kids that no one wanted to talk to. And I just pictured Brandon doing that in high school, so that was kind of funny.
Amelia had this boyfriend, and he came over and like he left his YouTube. Like he got this YouTube logged in.
Oh shoot, that's bad with Jeremy around.
So like they left, of course, because they're my kids or my kids adjacent.
Yeah.
It's like a rule that you have to leave everything on. Like you can't turn things off after yourself, because what else would I have to do then if I'm not following, cleaning up after you and turning things up after you? So I looked and I was like, first off, any guy that comes over, you're just automatically apprehensive.
Yep.
And my kids still have not learned that I'm an absolute, not great at much, but I am a sponge. So if you say something or tell me about something, it goes in there and Like, it doesn't go away. So, like, you tell me about a boy, and then 6 months later, you're like, oh, I'm going to go on a date with them. I remember everything you've told them. And I have very, like, open relationship with my kids. So this boy, they leave, and I go to turn off the TV, and, like, the remote has, like, one of those, like, thumb trackpads. So, like, the cursor, go on search. Or I went to like, I snooped on the history.
Yep.
And I'm like, hoping to see, like, watching deadlift videos, right? I guess I don't know. I guess I really don't know what I wanted to see. But I was like, it was like a bunch of anime, and I'm like, oh, ew. Super judgmental. Like, now, mind you, I've never, at this point, I didn't know anybody that was into anime.
Yeah.
Like, my close circle coming up, nobody was into anime. It wasn't even talked about. So I was never even, like, really exposed to it. It took you guys, like, opening my eyes. But I was like, my initial reaction was like, ew.
Yeah, ew. That's how it's funny, because that's how you do it. Is you first are like, these nerds are watching anime, and then you watch one, you're like, oh my gosh, the storytelling. Then you go, I don't want to watch cartoons. Cartoons are for kids. And then you watch and you're like, this storytelling's really
good. Or sometimes it's just the animation, or sometimes like they'd have these crazy fights, and, like, I don't know, it's just a bunch of blurs, and it's like, I think this is the equivalent of doing mushrooms without doing mushrooms. There's trails everywhere, crazy colors, the noises, like, what the hell's going on?
It's good for us ADHD people, ADD or whatever, because we're like, oh, there's so much going on right now.
That's why did your kids ever watch Cocomelon?
Yes.
Like, they said that's, like, ours did too, and they're like, that's awful for kids.
Yeah, I didn't know that until after they got older, because
I
guess with
because if shit's not, like,
yep,
they're just like, their brain falls out of their head.
And that's how they are.
Yeah, so I was like deep in this thought, and I'm like, I was reflecting, and I was like, man, same thing, just like you. I went through a period where and I will add this caveat. Over the last year and a half, I went from being the person that would consume all hobby content.
Yeah.
I loved it. Like, I went back and I listened to all of Adam, the real, man, I don't even remember his name. The real Adam. I don't remember his what's his handle?
The real 27.
The real, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Adam, who has the Basketball Card Fanatic magazine, great guy, or he's always been super cool with us. I went back and listened to all of his old stuff. I went back and listened to a ton of the crossover with Chris, Christina, and Josh. I mean, at one point, I had listened to like 1,000 episodes of Cage and your guy. I had listened to, like, anybody who was, even stuff that I didn't necessarily care about. I watched a lot of Ziggy's, and Ziggy's to me has always been super cool. I know he pisses people off, but that guy on the Real has always what's the word I'm looking for? He's always donated a ton of slabs for kids and absolutely, like, asked not to be named.
Yeah.
But I would listen to, like, his stuff. Like, anybody was doing anything and taking it, like, you could have fun, but being serious about it, I consumed it. And I found that, like, taking that year and a half off, I feel like I'm out of the loop a little, but I almost enjoy it more because I don't feel like I'm keeping up with the Joneses. I'm not biased based on somebody's opinion. I'm not in the middle of hobby beef because now removed, it seems kind of ridiculous that, for cards and stuff like that, there's crazy hobby beefs
all the time.
But it's just been enjoyable. And, like, I do think, for me, I enjoy education. Maybe not traditional book education because, I think people learn differently.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that vehicle for the education has been cards. And so it was TCG. Now I really do think it's going to be Pokemon to a certain degree. But also the education through, I give Brandon credit all the time. The one thing we've stuck to is operating in the off season.
Yeah.
Like that's our, like, we're like 70% of our money, if you had to break it down, goes into that. I love spending some money on things I like, but also proving things that I think could work.
Yeah.
And so I just, like, tell me about your transition from $1,000 cards, because that's what we were listening to. That's how you do it.
Yeah. That's how and at this time it was buy the base Zion Williamson PSA 10 Prism, buy Luca. These are $1,000 cards. They're going to go up. They all tanked during that time frame. And then Jeremy and I were like, I remember this. We were like, how about we try to do like 500 to like, we went down a scale, then those didn't do as well. And then we're like, let's try, these aren't working. Let's go all the way down to $10 cards to like 50, like let's say 10 to 150. And we did Com C, and that actually kind of worked out a little bit better. But I think all in all, the best way to do, if you're trying to make money in the hobby, because Jeremy will say, I know people, you're flippers, you're collectors, like everyone's complaining, but I would say Jeremy and I are everything. Like, we like to make money in the hobby to buy our good, like you have a P. Will collection, I have a Nomar collection. So I think the best thing is to buy off season, and we should get like a little spreadsheet because it works. Like from January to March, you should have already sold baseball and moved on. Now you're moving on to the football. It's the next couple months are buying football. Mm-hmm. Once July hits to August, it's sell football. Then it's buy basketball at that same time frame, and then it's sell basketball in September, October time frame. Then it's this is where everyone goes because it's the holidays, and this is the best time to buy everything, especially baseball, because baseball is for selling in January, March. It's a cycle. I mean, the seasons don't change. It's the same thing over and over.
Like I said a couple weeks ago when Courtney and I went to Ohio, we repeated what we did the last couple of years, and it was like any football, basically. And I'll include Bryce Young in that because I still think he's going to have a little bit of a buzz. But the 5 QBs, stick with, Prism, Optic, maybe some of the Mosaic, case hits, like the micro or stuff like that. And you don't even have to do anything. Even if you just keep the card raw, get rid of it by August. And I remember, what I think happens, and I'm guilty of this. Sometimes you're like, ooh, this is a sweet card. What if he, goes... Yeah. And I remember flipping specifically at a Skyline show. I sold a Kenny Pickett card, and I was never a Kenny Pickett fan. Mm-mm. And I remember people were going bananas. And I had this card, and it was a good feeling that everybody that walked up to my table was like, I want that card. Mm-hmm. I let it go. I let it go for like, I don't know, $1,000, $1,200, $1,500, whatever. And I'm like, man, did I just make a mistake? And sure enough, fast forward, Kenny Pickett's not a starter in the NFL. His market is all but dead.
Yeah.
And, I'm talking specifically cards. I'm not talking about his skill set or anything like that. You just rinse and repeat, man. Just rinse and repeat, be patient, and you're going to be golden.
Yep. And I've been doing it for college basketball and football, but I've been doing it a little different. It's a longer hold for college, and because everyone's looking at this year's draft for football, for example, right? So everyone wants... In college football, they want Travis Hunter, Cam Ward. They want all those. Like, you should be selling, right? Because of the hype of him. Ashton Genty. Who else? I'm trying to think of another quarterback. I don't know why I'm...
Shador.
Who?
Shador.
Yep, Shador Sanders. And I did say Travis Hunter. Matt McMillan, Luther Burden. Like, all these guys that are going to go in the first round. I'm already done. I don't have any of those cards. I'm looking at this is why it's a longer year, right? They already have Bowman first cards. I'm looking at 2026 projection, or who's going to be good or a starter during that season. For example, around this time frame, I bought Carson Beck Georgia cards because I knew that his market was going to be good because Georgia Bulldog fans are crazy when it comes to football. He's the starter. I bought it out. Be transparent. I bought it for $230 around this time frame, and then I sold it in September when Georgia won their first game by blew them out because usually the big teams play like crappy teams at first for warm up games. Sold it for like $800. So because of the hype of him, so you could potentially Carson Beck's gone. For Georgia, who's the Georgia quarterback? Look to see if he has cards. Look to see if Ohio State, Will Howard's gone. Look see who their quarterback is. Just go to big markets. Even I don't like Michigan, but they're getting a new quarterback. They're a big market. Texas is a big market. So look at these big market teams and look who the starting quarterback is this year. That's how I do it for football. Bowman first.
And the price point of buying that stuff so much cheaper.
Yep.
So if you look at it from a margin perspective, going from like let's say 30 to 200 is pretty sweet as opposed to buying a $200 card and selling it for 300.
Yeah, I agree. So
we like part of the shtick on the show has always been like Manny loses money, but there's been some things that you've been so spot on with, and another one I want to give you credit for that runs in line with what you're just describing is you were ripping the basketball a few years ago, chasing the Thompson twins, and I think you ripped it like on draft night or a couple days before, and I think you pulled
the OTE
OTE.
Yep.
And so, like if you're paying attention, some of these cycles repeat themselves. So you have to be careful. Some of it is a hype cycle, which like is a fad that'll go away, and some of it are just certain things. So I think there's always going to be a demand for like first autographs.
Correct.
I think that's true and that's safe, and you can play that game a lot cheaper than with some of the other brands. And it also like it makes it, again, this comes back to sometimes when things are different, it makes it fun. When a new rapper comes out with a different sound, sometimes that's awesome. Like, holy shit, this is completely different. I love what they're doing here, which engages you and makes it more fun. I'll say the one thing that's been consistent and I don't see going away for myself in my hobby experience is the utilization of ComC.
I agree. That ComC is, there's three things that I do is ComC, college, and then collectible like anime stuff, I say. But the ComC stuff, it sells. Like there's certain cards that you need to look for, and the more you kind of get used to ComC, you'll know. And it's not hard to know the cards. It's numbered, game used, autos. That's your thing right there. Numbered cards, game used, or autos, and they sell like hotcakes. What I do is go to ComC and don't send base cards because you're fighting with 150 other people that sent those base cards. Yeah, so send stuff that's cheaper but unique, like those low tier end players, the low end players that their autos are like 10 to 15 bucks, and you could get at a card show for $5, and you could buy a whole box of that stuff. That's where you make your sweet money.
And it's maybe a little daunting at first as you're getting used to it. I remember I watched YouTube videos on how to package my cards and send it in and what to expect. And now now it's like I got a thing and like I'll get 300 cards out in like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, you had that whole closet full of nice cards that we both were, I would say we were both intimidated to start the process. And once we start the process, we're like, this is easy.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's once you get used to it, it's like effortless. You set your price. I have all my stuff set on auto accept, so I don't have to go back and forth because these are cards I've determined.
Yep.
And I will say cards that I had on eBay forever, or cards that went to my showcase a million times and never sold. Yep. I was like, damn, like that, I got full asking price on that card.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow, because there's collectors on there, and the one thing that I've heard from a lot of people, I myself have never bought cards on ComC. I've bought one card for myself, a Riley Green 1/1 patch auto, and I tried their grading, their whole shebang where they review it and send it off for grading. So when I get that back, we'll talk about it so I can share that experience. And then Tyler reached out one day, and somebody he went to high school with was a major league pitcher. The rainbow was available on ComC, so I bought the rainbow for him. Otherwise, I've never spent my money, but I've always heard that because there is like that, I think it's 10% if you take your money out.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, people are more inclined to buy a card so they can maximize their what they would call ComC credit or the money in your account. And sometimes people are willing to spend more than what you would see on eBay, and I've seen that quite a few times where I'm like, wow, I actually got $4 for this card that I couldn't sell on eBay for. Not that I actually tried to, but like a card that goes for $2 on eBay on bids. Yeah, I just got $4.
Yeah, it's crazy. They also try to, people that are ComC people are like, why take your money out? Because of the 10%. eBay charges you 17%. When you sell on eBay, you get taken 17% out. You got to pay shipping and all those other taxes. I'll take the 10% and get money if I need it out of my ComC account. It's just sitting there. So I don't know. I have learned that I don't need to be stuck with the money and reach for ComC cards because 10% is still cheaper than the eBay fees that you have to deal with.
For sure.
So
I would take the money all day. I'm not in the and I know there's people that once they build a nice little bankroll within ComC, they buy and sell on that platform. They buy it over here, and there's a nice layout when you really start going through ComC because there's a lot of options where it's like, hey, this card was acquired on this date. You paid this much, which it always shows 0 for me because like my cards were submitted. But I'm like, I know there's a lot of people who are constantly transacting on there looking for people like me who might have a $20 card that they just priced at $10 and just want to get out of it.
I doubled my money on 3 cards. So I only bought 3 cards, and it was college cards. And I bought in the off season of WNBA or college women's NCAA. And it was Michaela Williams. Why I say Michaela? I would put a Latin.
Out.
I just put a Latin twang to it. But I bought her auto for like $8, $7, and during a couple months ago when the season started, they were selling for like $20, and I just had it in ComC and basically stored it and just resubmitted it back to my account, and someone quick bought it because there is hawks on ComC. You post a card, they are on it.
You know, there was I think it was in Vegas was it the Mint? I think it was that where they did the women's trade night.
Yes.
Where it was like all the women in the hobby went together. I don't know her name. I knew it. I've forgotten it, but she was the lady who worked for Jeff. What the hell's Jeff's name?
Wilson?
Jeff Wilson. Remember the blonde hair girl?
The one that pushed me out the way.
The one that pushed you.
You remember that when she's like,
anyway, they ripped a ton of wax. And then Courtney came back with a ton of wax. And I remember we pulled a Nafisa Collier gold vinyl, gemmed, and like we sold it for like $100 or like something like that. And then like, you know, obviously the Caitlin Clark effect. And now like cards are like, who would hindsight's 2020, but like, man, I kind of wish I would have hung on to that one.
Yeah, exactly. Or we should have got like Caitlin Clark cards when I should have, because I've been doing college basketball, but I would sell them because of the, you know, price point at that time. I should have held them.
Yeah. But so for me, like it's the relationships. I know a lot of people say that. For me, it's relationships with you. Every time we go to a show, it's nothing but love. I'm getting to interact and spend time with my kids. In a world where everybody lives on their phones or in video games, it's refreshing that I can say, hey, we're going to a card show and all of my kids are excited. I get to spend time with them. So you have all the stuff that goes with like, you know, a road trip, going to a hotel, playing pranks on Manny, taking a dump in his toilet, like the kids did to you.
Yeah, you.
Getting to watch them interact with people and force them to interface and not just like, hey, LOL, exclamation point. Like, I really enjoy that. I enjoy sports, and I'm like just kind of having fun, doing it my own way, and like don't know what other people are doing, which is also kind of nice. Like, you do you, baby boo. I'm gonna do me, and you know, let's go get it.
Yeah, you can make money and do the hobby,
but it's not always money, man. Like people get it twisted, and when everything's financially based, the fun starts to go away because you're stressing and straining about $1 here, $1 there. And, you know, poor decision making isn't going to lead to fun.
Yeah, I guess I'll rephrase it. There's a million ways to do the hobby.
Yes.
And you shouldn't poop on how one person does it compared to another person. Just, I mean, build relationships. That's the best part. Like I said, I think I said it in like the first episode, one of the first episodes. I'm in the hobby and I enjoy it because I'm making new friends. And we're old. No offense. We're older. Yeah, we don't really make friends like we did in high school as we're kids. So this is like our way of like meeting new people.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. You've said that before, and I give you a lot of credit the first time you said it because it's true. Where you're gonna go? Where are you gonna go make some friends? Like, hey, do you collect cards? Get the hell out of my face.
I do collect. You got the new Pikachu?
Oh man, I hit the cars, and people are like, oh, so what do you have, like Lamborghinis and Ferraris? I'm like, no, drop the D. I got cars.
Yeah. I collect Mewtwo's.
Yeah, I think that having fun in itself will lead to good results, and then not feeling a pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's like a lot of pressure within the hobby for certain people because you're like, you have to either show off a new car, you have to do something splashy, and it became tiresome seeing people trying to get over on other people or just knowing something's a damn scam.
Yep.
Like that was kind of good, but also a little bit bad as you get to know a lot of people and they start to open up and never speak on somebody else's business, but you kind of get to see like the dark side or some of like the shadiness that takes place.
Mm-hmm.
And so just kind of like staying in your own lane, doing your own thing, having fun. Man, I've been enjoying it. And guess what? Making a couple dollars that I can waste on, Violet Sky booster boxes or whatever the hell I've been buying.
Yeah, and I would say too with the relationship portion, Jeremy, and you probably didn't know this because you're not really on Facebook that much, but the
I'm not on
community.
Facebook, period.
I know you sign into Courtney's and then joke around and kind of get people going on TNT's Facebook group sometimes.
Okay, so there's two things. Courtney and I have forever had a rule that if you hack somebody,
Yeah.
you have to leave it.
Oh, okay.
That's been forever. So if you were to go back like 15 years ago, 12 years ago, a decade ago, some of the stuff that I would put on Courtney's Facebook was god awful. So if you go back and Courtney's mooning or sunshining somebody or had explosive diarrhea at a 7-Eleven, those were all hacks.
Yep.
If you go on my personal Instagram, I think she's only ever got me once or twice. One of them is like a picture of Iggy Azalea and me saying that she's the greatest rapper in the world. Like, I'll fight you. That one like pissed me off because people are like, yo, dog, you like Iggy? And I'm like, So this is kind of a fun story though. So that's always been the thing with Courtney and I. Well, on certain holidays when we're over at her family's house, specifically her mom, if her mom leaves her phone for a second, I'll hack her. But I'm always like, I don't go too extreme with it. I always put something like Courtney's dad, like, oh, he's so handsome. I can't believe I just want to go kiss it. Like, kind of like PG. Well,
yeah.
This last Christmas or Thanksgiving, I put like, I can't believe I drank an entire bottle of Jack Daniels. The room is spinning, blah, 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 something. Okay. Jeremy, because all of a sudden her phone's going off and she's having a laugh and everybody's laughing. Well, you know how people get on Facebook, or at least I see people, it's like they just want to argue with other people or have disagreements about shit.
Yeah.
Not that they would never say it in real life. Well, something happened somewhere on like a Genesee County Facebook page about something. Well, somebody went and like scrubbed Courtney's mom's profile and found this post of me saying that like, she's drinking on the holidays. The lady like screen grabbed it and said that like this woman can't be listened to or trusted because she's clearly an alcoholic.
Oh my gosh.
So my mother-in-law is like what the hell? Super like super annoyed, super pissed. So I asked her and I was like, Jan, why did you take that down?
It's a rule.
And she's like, well, Courtney told me that's the rule, that if you get hacked, you have to leave it up. I'm like, no, that rule's between Courtney and myself. It has nothing to do with you. I'm so sorry that you had to fight with internet trolls who think that you're like a booze hound alcoholic.
She's like, that's my son that posted it. That's funny. Yeah. Oh man, social media.
So I guess it just spending the time with Kaya, going to a card show out of necessity because my friend Manny lied to me and he doesn't care about the well-being of myself and my kids, or 504 Matt. Probably didn't even call 504 Swamp Man Matt to check in on him.
Yeah, he's pretty bummed that we call him Swamp Man.
Hey, can we do a wellness check on Silverlight? Is he okay?
I see him on Whatnot. I guess he told me yesterday because I went and jumped in his Whatnot that he'll be at the show. So we'll see him. We'll see him on Saturday.
See, that's one thing that I was thinking about too, and we didn't even get to it. Is like you and me are different. I know a lot of people who enjoy watching breaks.
Yeah.
Once in a while, I get the itch to watch a break, but I don't watch them and I don't jump in what I don't even have Fanatics Live. I've never even experienced it one time. But
Yeah.
you'll send me like screenshots of a card that you see or something that's going on, and I know that you enjoy the hobby that way.
Yeah, I enjoy losing money, so I get into breaks. No, I'm joking. I don't get into breaks. I enjoy looking at the product and what people are
Yeah.
buying and stuff like that. You learn a lot.
Bingo, you have a good breaker. You can learn a lot about the product. They go into great detail.
Yeah,
But it was just something that had been on my mind. I thought it was like a fun, lighter conversation.
I like it.
I hope that you either have a game or the thickest of the week, because I thought one topic would be good.
Yeah.
And I think, we're, 50 minutes into this bad boy. I think I did well.
You did. You did great. You actually bring actual structure to the show, and I'm just, all over the place. So thank you. Thickest of the week. This week. So we have to get our cards set up. And this is going to be added to the Wall of Fame. Let me pull it up. And it's our guy. I don't know if you liked him too much, but he was my guy because he could hit bombs.
Was mashing dingers?
Dingers.
Oh, big sexy.
Big sexy.
Big sexy.
285 pounds, 5'11". And the card, let me pull up the card. You basically could get any, we're going to get any Bartolo Colon card, but this is the one that I kind of enjoy. Because of just because of the heritage. I'll probably get a heritage instead of the archives, but I like the heritage view of his card. I can't get a rookie card because he was slim as a rookie, so I gotta get one where he's older.
Wow, look at that! He's getting ready to throw, because remember he was throwing like 82-mile-per-hour heat.
He was. So that's our thickest of the week. I gotta find a card.
He was like in his mid-40s. He'd give up like 3 runs. He'd like eat 5 innings. No pun intended. But then he would he'd go for 2 for 3 at the dish with a bomb.
Yep. He's got to be one of the best hitters in MLB, right? Would you say as a pitcher?
As a pitcher,
him and Bumgarner.
I remember. I think it was like Jake Arrieta during that incredible stretch where he was unhittable for a second half of a season in a playoff run.
Yeah.
I think Madison tried to get a fastball in on Mr. Arrieta, and he went left field. Yeah, Madison could hit, but there was a guy named George Herman Ruth who was a pitcher who was a pretty good hitter. There's a pitcher by the name of Shohei Ohtani.
I was going to say Ohtani.
He's pretty good.
he's pretty good.
He's a pretty good hitter. Yeah, no, I mean, he was always like you had to like, you wouldn't want to hang a breaking ball or give him something in the zone because he knew what to do with it.
Exactly. Well, he had the hips.
Who was the pitcher? And maybe we should do a giveaway. Who was the pitcher that we won't follow through on? Who was the pitcher on the Yankees where I think it was George Steinbrenner called him a fat toad?
I think I know who you're talking about.
Can you Google it right now? Like, maybe we'll do a second thickest of the week.
Okay.
Go like fat toad Yankee Steinbrenner. Like an encore, if you will. Like, hey, thickest of the week was awesome. Wait, there's more.
You want me to say it?
Yeah.
It's Hideki Irabu. And he definitely put in another word besides just a fat toad.
Really?
Yeah. But yeah, I guess he got really fat. Let me see if I could Hideki
Irabu.
Yeah. Oh, you know who that is?
I knew who he was. I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah. So Hideki Irabu. I guess the giveaway would be the first person to give us a Hideki card, no matter what. Get a giveaway.
We have like the OG Too Thick shirt. Maybe we'll do one with Hideki Irabu.
Yeah, there you go. We should
like our anime heads with all the different heads of like Bartolo, Hideki Irabu,
Connor Williams, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Robbie Avila. I love it.
Cream King or whatever the hell he goes
by. Larry Dream or whatever.
I like it. I think that's what we got. Otis,
Dewdrop
is on there. Yeah, Piper Niven.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like it too. We got to figure that out.
We do. We do. Another great idea that'll probably go by the wayside here at the old Too Thick Pod.
I don't know if Courtney's watching our videos. She'll make it. She'll make it a reality. She's the only one that does.
I know. They could just either like instead of like using all of the sponsorship money for the shenanigans we use it for, maybe we invest back in the show.
Exactly. I like that. Maybe we'll get the StreamYard one day away from our like we had before.
Didn't you used to work for a podcast that really capitalized on some free labor?
Yeah, we did.
Maybe we could do that.
Yeah,
anybody want to work for free, and then
we probably should ask them how they did that.
You're gonna end up working for your own damn podcast.
Yep. That, to be honest, that's how I sold Jeremy to do a podcast. I told him, I've been doing this for a while every day. I can do it again just once a week.
It's your podcast, so it's like there's gonna be two Mannies in the chat, and like Manny the intern is gonna be removed from the chat and like logged out of everything with no explanation.
I fire myself. Oh, that's good.
Oh my God. Well, thank you everybody who took 57 minutes out of their day, their evening, their morning commute to work, their evening commute home from work, their commute to Taco Bell at 2 a.m. because they indulged on too many alcohol and marijuana cigarettes. Those are the sorts of people that are listening to this dumpster fire of a podcast.
Oh yeah, we appreciate you guys.
Make sure you like, you subscribe, you smash something, tell your mama, and maybe, just maybe, you'll see us at a card show if we can ever hammer down the date, the time, and the location. I am Jeremy. That is Manny.
And we're out. Peace.